Today we're going to be talking about how international players can get a scholarship offer to play in the U.S. Now, first things first, if you live, outside of the U.S., whether that's, like Mexico, Germany, England, wherever the case may be, you need to get some type of film that can showcase yourself playing at the highest possible level of your age group. So like, let's say for example, you live in like England or something like that, right? You need to get film from like, whether it's a club team, whether it's, some version of high school, like varsity level football that you could showcase to a couple different private schools and a couple different prep schools in the U.S. That's what I think would be the best route to get your foot in the door, especially playing in the U.S. So what's a private school? What's a prep school? Obviously, so like, let's say you're a kid, let's say maybe you're like 16 years old, right? If you're 16 years old, you're an international player, and let's say there's a club team near your house that you play on, you need to get film from that, whether that's paying somebody, whether it's your mom or your dad, filming yourself playing, whatever it is, but you need to make a highlight reel or a highlight tape of some of the best plays that you have to showcase and best plays that you have to offer, regardless of what your position is. So what you need to do after that is I recommend probably on the East Coast, because the East Coast is where I would say there's probably more prep schools than there is on the West Coast. Like I live in California and there aren't really any prep schools out here. And what a prep school is, or a postgraduate school, is like where a school they offer an extra year after high school, for example. So like they'll have like regular high school classes, freshman, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th, 12th, and then they'll have an extra year before you go to college. And that extra year is where a lot of international students might be able to fit in. So you want to find one of those prep schools, one of those private schools, and contact admissions and ask them, explain your situation. Say, I'm from overseas, I play football, I want to come to your school, etc. Now, the tuition for those places can be a little high. We're going to talk about more affordable options and cheaper ways to be able to play football in the U.S., but that's ultimately where I would start. I would contact admissions, and then I would also contact the athletic department or the head football coach, and I would try to get them your highlight tape. Get the tape in front of them, explain your situation. I'm an athlete from here, I'm an athlete from there, and try to get into their, like, I guess you could say pipeline, or at least on their list to be accepted to their school. That's the first way I would go about it, especially if you have the financial means to do so, but if you don't, we're going to talk about that next. Now, if you're looking for a step-by-step guide on how you can get recruited once you start playing football in the U.S., what do college coaches want to see? What can you do to stand out to college coaches? Check out that very first link in the description below for our Ultimate College Football Recruiting Guide. It's an hour-long video where I map out the exact recruiting process, from the type of film you need, how you get recruited from a small town, international athletes, everything that you need to get recruited to play football at the next level. So if that's of interest to you guys, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, like I mentioned in the very beginning of this video, private schools, prep schools can cost a lot of money. Like from the top of my head, I would say probably on average, if you're going to go to one of those prep schools that will have a postgraduate year after the 4 years of high school that's deemed, those are probably going to run you about $50,000 a year on average, and that's insanely expensive. $50,000 American a year, which is insanely expensive, guys. Now, are there scholarships that you can apply for? Do they have different scholarships for international students? Absolutely, and that's something that I would look into. But if you still don't have the financial means to do that, I recommend looking into something called a junior college or a community college. So out here on the West Coast, that's where I live. I live in Southern California, and there are tons of community colleges or deemed junior colleges out here. Essentially what that is after your 4 years of high school, so you go 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, you have 2 years where you are earning like an associate's degree. It is still considered college. Those 2 years you will kind of lose, I guess you could say, like NCAA eligibility if you play those 2 years, because you only have 4 years of playing eligibility when you get to college. So junior college is a form of college, but is an extremely cheap version of college. Because guys, like a junior college out here in California, like probably it's going to run you maybe like $1,000 compared to $50,000 to go to some private school or prep school or postgraduate school. So let's say maybe you're that 16-year-old athlete who's overseas. What I recommend doing is playing 4 years, or maybe playing, like 2 years overseas, getting some good film, and then reaching out to some junior colleges that you can attend and move out to the States. They have tons of programs, especially for international athletes and international just general people, to be able to come over here and go to college. So I would reach out to those schools, explain your situation. There are tons of junior colleges on the West Coast in California. You could run just a simple Google search. Just type in on Google, type in junior colleges in Southern California, community colleges in Southern California, and there will be a list. And I would contact those schools, explain your situation, and ask them what you can do. You have to contact the schools. It's more than just a couple emails. You have to call them and get on the phone and explain your situation. But that is what I would go about it if you maybe don't have the financial means to move to some private school or pay a private school tuition. Now, once you're at either a junior college or a, community college, or you go to that postgraduate school, that extra year at a prep school after high school, you have to perform. So colleges will recruit out of a prep school, colleges will recruit out of a JUCO, but you need to have film. You need to be able to showcase what you can do. So when you get on campus, guys, it should be all about improving. You should be improving your skills, trying to work your way up the depth chart, trying to earn any type of play time, whether that's special teams, whether that's offense, defense, however you can get on the field, because you need film to showcase what you can do. So you can get that film out to different college coaches, and we're going to talk about how you guys can get that film to college coaches the correct way. But when you get there, it has to be all about the work, all about improvement, and how you can get on the field. Now, the next thing that you could do to get recruited as an international player, once you get to the States, every single international player must have an X account, or formerly known as Twitter. So on that X account, you're using that kind of like a LinkedIn profile, if you know what that is, which is essentially a social media platform where different employers will look for people to find jobs, etc. It's like just a place where people can network about jobs. You want to use X as a way to network about scholarships, because college coaches use X. They use that platform to actively recruit players. So on X, you need to make an account. It needs to be all business. It should be your profile picture of you in some type of football environment. You should include your graduating class, so class of 2027, whatever it is, your position, and then you should include some type of marketable attribute about yourself along with the school that you attend. So a marketable attribute, like let's say you're a quarterback and you're 6'4", 205, that's a marketable attribute. If you're 5'8", 185, that's not very marketable, so you should include something else in the bio. But on that account, you should be uploading clips every single week of you training, working out in the gym, working out with your team, whatever it is. And when you get film, you want to upload that highlight tape that we talked about before this to that X account. And then from there, you want to try to build relationships with college coaches. So you want to find different college coaches. How you do that is, let's say, for example, your dream is to go to like UCLA. You go to UCLA, you type it on Twitter or on X, UCLA football, and you go to who they are following, not their followers, who they are following. There's going to be a long list of coaches. You want to follow the coach that is your position coach, and you want to follow the coach that would be deemed the recruiting coordinator for your area. How colleges recruit is they take a guy, they might take an offensive line coach to go recruit Texas, but he recruits all of every position in Texas, and then he reports back. He doesn't just recruit O-line. So you want to find the recruiting coordinator and your position coach, shoot them a follow. Then what you want to do is you want to shoot them a message and ask them a question. A very specific question would be, hey coach, do you have any college camps coming up? And if they have any college camps coming up, they could send you over the information, and you want to attend those camps. You want to get in front of them and showcase what you can do and how you can improve your skills. As a player though, guys, you're going to get tons of camp invites that are all spam. Hey, we'd love to invite you to this camp. Hey, we'd love to invite you to that camp. If you don't have an actual direct relationship with a coach, you probably shouldn't go to a camp, because I feel that's going to be a waste of time. You're just going to be another number to those guys and more money in their pocket. So if you could get a hold of a coach that might be interested in you based off of the content that you're posting, the stuff that you have on your profile, your highlights that you have on your profile, that's a great camp to attend, because you already have that type of relationship with him. Then after the fact, after that camp, maybe the following season, whether it's out of JUCO, whether it's from the prep school, the post-grad school, you could send him your film from the following year, and that's a contact that you've built up. So that is how you guys can maybe get an opportunity to walk onto a school, get a preferred walk-on, get a scholarship, whatever the case may be if you are overseas.